Common Knowledge is brought to you by our friends at Game Grid Midvale, our local game store who puts players first with weekly competitive events, below market pricing, and the best customer service available. Check out their online inventory using the link in our description.
We are also sponsored by inkgaming.com. Use coupon code CCMTG10 at checkout for a 10% discount on all inked gaming supplies and accessories. You can support the show directly through Patreon at patreon.com/common knowledge.
This is the Common Knowledge Podcast. It's not about the cost, it's about the knowledge. Here are your hosts, Brandon Clark and Laubert.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Common Knowledge, a podcast about Magic the Gathering, focused around the common-only format known as Pauper. Today I'm joined by my co-host, Sean, the Laubert, the Stokey Pants. Today we'll be walking you through a magical journey as we talk about all things pertaining to the commons-only format known as Pauper.
We're going to cover all of it?
Yeah, every single bit, every single detail.
I can't deal with you being that serious, bruh. I felt like we were at a funeral or something.
Thank you for joining the Common. I could do a. Oh, I wish I was Benedict Cumberbatch. Today we'll be talking about the penguins. Welcome to Pauper.
I don't remember who was the one that told me that nobody on set told him that he was saying penguin wrong.
No one did. He kept saying it that way, and no one tried to correct him. And then somehow this movie made it through, like, post, and then got released. Like, let alone the first time that he was ever recording and went penguins, pingalings. He says it differently every time. And no one went, I'm sorry, Benedict, it's penguin?
Would you tell him? If this person who's hired to do voice work and say words, I would not. I would just be like, cool, that's an interesting direction you took the word penguin.
Watch now as the majestic pingalings. Oh my heavens. All right. Well, anyway, we've got an interesting show lined up for you all today because I guess on December 5th, there was a big announcement restructuring the Magic Online tournament system, and Sean and I had no idea. And I think the way we found out was I sent Sean a screenshot of my 5-0 because I got my first trophy on Magic Online. Thank you. I know. Thank you. And Sean goes, where the heck are your format points?
It just didn't hit me because, like, I remember when we went through the news last year in, like, November that they were like, all of your points are going to expire at the end of the year. And so that's not a big surprise. But then there was these other kinds of points, and I was like, hold on, I need to figure out what's going on here. And yeah, there was this announcement, and I think since both of us were just busy during December, we weren't up on that. But yeah, it'll be good in the long term. One new goal that we have is that I want to shout out the next Pauper Showcase Challenge. Which we will get into what a Showcase Challenge is. There's a lot of things that are staying the same, so if you already know what was going on before, it's not going to be super confusing or anything. And they did try to simplify it, but I think it's good to go through how the tournament structure works because I spent a good few hours making sure I understood the ins and outs of it while making these show notes. And I don't think it should take everybody a couple of hours. So I think this would be a good resource. I wish I had something like this to show me when I was starting out, and because it's a confusing system. There's a lot of different ways to do the same thing, and it's like, where are we going? What's the next tournament? And that information is, like, strangely hard to get, I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, also not to mention that trying to navigate Wizards' website is a nightmare. If I need to find something, like say I'm on Magic's website and I'm looking at format or challenge results for power rankings, and then I need to get to the next week. I don't just like in the website go, okay, well, next week. I go back out into Google and then Google that and let Google take me straight there because I have no idea how to navigate Wizards' website at all.
Yeah, I've considered making just like a spreadsheet of every Pauper challenge that there ever has been so that I can just have all of that at my fingertips so that it's more easily searchable. I've done projects that are a lot less work than that.
That is true.
But before we go any further, I did want to give a shout out to JT French. I played against him in the tournament practice room when I was testing out my mill deck again. He was playing this red, green, black retrace list. Retrace being the mechanic where if the card is in your graveyard, you can discard a land card, pay the cost, and cast it another time without exiling the card or anything, so that makes it repeatable. He was just picking lands out of his graveyard with Stoic Builder and Tilling Tree Folk to generate value, and it was pretty cool. And putting a sizable amount of cards in his graveyard made his job a lot easier, since they were just there without him having to work for it, and there was additional lands and things. But he played a Battlefield Scrounger. And Battlefield Scrounger, if you're not aware, is 3 green for a 3/3 Centaur. And it has this threshold ability where if you have 7 or more cards in your graveyard, you can activate it to put 3 cards on the bottom of your library. And you can do that once each turn. So you can do it on your turn and you can do it on your opponent's turn. So when he played that, I was kind of scared I'd never be able to mill him out, and that's true. I never was able to mill him out, but I was able to swing through with some big Jace's Phantasms, and that felt pretty cool. But it was a cool match, and I really enjoyed it.
Neat. I just played a lot of Burn. That's what I did. I played 3 Burn leagues.
Oh, that's nice. Sweet. Like, yeah. I'm happy to hear that.
I went 4-1, and then I went 3-2, and then I got my 5-0. And then I cube drafted. I did 2 cube drafts, and I got to play this super awesome blue-red Spells Matter Splinter Twin deck. I had Splinter Twin, Kiki Jiki, Zealous Conscripts, Pestermite, and Deceiver Exarch in my deck.
That's nutty.
I had Ancestral Recall. I had Treasure Cruise, Gitaxian Probe. Like, I just had this. It was just the funnest deck. And then my opponents would just do things like ramp with their green decks on turns 1 through 3 or whatever, and then they'd like tap out for Primeval Titan. And I'm like, all right, my turn. End step, Deceiver Exarch, tap your thing, untap, Splinter Twin it.
Yeah,
it was so fun. And then I drafted a really cool red-green Through the Breach deck with I have Kiki Jiki, Zealous Conscripts, Restoration Angel, so I have that combo in my deck.
Yeah.
I'm not finished with this league. I think I have one more match. I think I'm like 1-1 right now. But I had a game where I had Kiki Jiki in my hand, and my opponent thought seized me and made me discard my Kiki Jiki. I think my hand was like Kiki Jiki, Tooth and Nail, and I only had 8 mana, so I had to draw the next mana. So they thought seize me. They take away my Kiki Jiki, and I draw the land, and I play it, and I entwine Tooth and Nail, and I go get Blightsteel Colossus, Zealous Conscripts, and I put them into play, and Zealous Conscripts says I gain control of Blightsteel Colossus and give it haste, and I just went bash. It was so fun. Oh my gosh.
That does sound like fun.
It was fun. And then the Pauper leagues were, I just threw burn spells at people's face. I think burn is super, super strong right now in the meta.
So I actually played a league with Scred Fairies, and I can only do about 1 league of that deck before I'm just like, I'm too stressed out.
Yeah. That's where I was. That's why I went to burn.
I really do tend towards aggressive, more simple decks. Like, I do subscribe to the ideology of, like, if you can win with a simple deck like this, why stress yourself out to not gain any more percentage points? I feel like I'll lose some, because it's a difficult deck to play. There's so many decision points. But I did go 4-1. I really enjoyed it. I beat Burn twice.
Yeah, and that actually kind of makes sense. Like Burn is really well placed right now because I don't think the Scred Fairies deck is super well positioned, and I feel that like Burn is at less of an advantage in this format when blue tempo decks are running around, particularly ones with Spellstutter Sprite in them. And so with that deck
Yeah.
kind of being like on the down, on the decline, it's not as powerful. I think that's one of the reasons Burn is doing so well, because so many other decks in this format, their game plan against Burn is try to race, and that's not super feasible against Burn. Burn's faster, I promise.
Yeah, the Searing Blazes really make it hard to race Burn.
I mean, I even had a match against Stompy where they gained 12 life off Weather the Storm, like went up to 21.
Yeah.
And I just looked at him and I was like, well, I mean, if I draw 2 more burn spells, you're dead in 2 turns, so whatever. Like, you know.
Yeah. Burn keeps going. Burn, there's still a continual, there's always more burn coming. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's a good way to stall, but you are only stalling for like a turn or two, even with a Weather the Storm that large, especially if you haven't dealt with whatever is on the board pumping up the burn spells.
Yep, exactly. And where the blue Delver, or like not Delver, because Delver's not seeing too much play, but in these blue Fairies decks, like those get the advantage against burn because they have disruption, but their disruption are also their threats. And so they're still able to put pressure on the burn deck while 1-for-1ing. Stompy, it's like they play their 2-2 and it's like, okay, I Searing Blaze it or whatever. And then they're like, yeah, Weather the Storm, gain some life. And it's like, they're still down cards, which is actually important because they need to be applying pressure too. And so the thing with the Fairies decks, when you Spellstutter Sprite their spell, even if that gets Searing Blazed, you're still up in that exchange against the burn deck.
So the other decks I played, I did play against the Delver version of Scred, and I won that matchup. Just being able to use Tragic Lesson as just like an unending, just I am going to generate more cards than you was something that I really leveraged, and that made that go super smoothly. I lost against the Mirror against Asker 45. This is the first league I've played with this in more than 6 months for sure. So definitely they just outplayed me. I can't blame it on draws or anything like that. I know that I misplayed somewhere. And then there was this red-black Moan of the Unhallowed deck.
Can you tell the listeners who don't know what Moan of the Unhallowed does, what Moan of the Unhallowed does? Asking listeners, definitely not for me.
Just off the top of my head, it's 2 black for a sorcery that creates 2 black zombie creature tokens, and it has flashback for 5 black.
Now can you tell us what set it's from?
Vintage Masters?
Oh, okay, that's how it got into Pauper. Now can you tell us the flavor text?
Liliana made some zombies. No, I can't. Let me look at it.
That'd be great flavor text. Liliana made some zombies. And the card is called Liliana Makes Zombies.
So it's actually from Ultimate Masters, and the flavor text is, for a ghoul, every village is a buffet, and every disaster is a reunion. Aw.
And every reunion is a disaster.
How wholesome for zombies.
Yeah, good for zombies. I love that for them.
So, like I said, I do want to shout out that the next Pauper Showcase Challenge is January 26th.
And we'll kind of explain more in depth what that means in the show, what you want to be doing to prepare for that, etc.
Yeah. Do you want to get into our giveaway? It's giveaway time.
Giveaway time! Are you all ready for, drumroll, our random Patreon giveaway thingamajig? Paul Hannon, you're the winner! Congratulations to Paul Hannon. You've been selected as our winner for this month's random giveaway. Sean, tell him what he's won.
Winding Way, Firebrand Archer, Tragic Lesson, and this week's card of the week.
Card of the week.
Which is Lightning Bolt.
Yeah, so we're looking for a card of the week. I just pulled up MTG Top 8's most played cards in Pauper. Just like, maybe you'll get some inspiration there. And surprisingly, we've never done Lightning Bolt. It's played in about 38% of decks, average 3.5 in each deck. So there's a lot of copies of Lightning Bolt running around because it's freaking awesome, right?
Yeah, it's pretty good. So it's the red version of Healing Salve.
Or Ancestral Recall.
Or Ancestral Recall. Where they had this thing going of 1 mana get 3. And Lightning Bolt, being red, was 3 damage to a thing or a stuff.
It's been kind of deemed too powerful to reprint. Like, versions of this now are twice as much mana as Lightning Bolt. Or if they do print a new one, it's usually sorcery speed.
They usually have stipulations. I think the most recent 1 mana burn spell closest to Lightning Bolt was the Spell Mastery one, and I don't believe that card could even target creatures.
What about Skewer the Critics?
Or sorry, not creatures. Oh yeah, I forgot about Skewer the Critics. Yeah, the most recent one had the stipulation of needing to deal damage. What's that mechanic called?
Showtime.
Showtime mechanic.
Unholy Display.
Rakdos mechanic. Gosh. Spectacle.
Yep.
We were close with Showtime. Yeah. Okay, that was the one. I think that's the most recent Lightning Bolt that was printed. I didn't think about that because it's not 1 mana.
And it's
3
not
mana. Its converted mana cost is 3, okay?
And it's sorcery.
Yeah.
And even with that downside, it's playable in like a tier 1 deck. I would say Burn is tier 1. Like that deck, you just look through it and it's just Lightning Bolt and versions of Lightning Bolt that aren't as good as Lightning Bolt.
And Fire Blast.
And Searing Blaze. But like just plays on this card because like this is just, it's just so good. Like it's so simple, just an instant 1 mana way for like the versatility of it means that it gets played in so many decks. It goes face, it removes creatures for very efficiently at instant speed.
It's still like one of the most played cards in the format. It's still so powerful. But you do see it in decks like Skred Fairies. Sometimes it gets shaved down for, obviously you want to play 4 copies of Skred. Lightning Bolt sometimes gets shaved down in place of other things. You'll see like Fire Ice make appearances or Magmatic Sinkhole, stuff like that. Why do you think that is? If Lightning Bolt is as strong as we're saying it is?
The versatility part where you may want to go face is very, very useful, but there are things that supersede it. Like another card that you see replace it sometime is Flame Slash, and that's just kind of meta dependent. If you're worried about a creature being larger, that can be more important. I think like right now with Tron being, the big boogeyman, being able to kill a 4 toughness creature at instant speed to maybe interrupt like a Ghostly Flicker combo, that a lot of the time supersedes you wanting to go face with a spell. I think that's really all it comes down to. Like Skred is such an incredibly powerful Magic card. Like it's kind of insane that it even exists at all, but it is more narrow in like deck construction costs. But once you can play it, yeah, you've put in a fair bit of work. I guess in decks like Skred Fairies and Skred Delver, it's not that much work. Like all you have to do is play a minimal amount of red so that you can play all basic lands and fetch lands, and those all work together with other things in your deck anyway. But since other decks maybe can't play those other things, Lightning Bolt ends up just slotting into a lot of these decks. It's never a bad option if you're building a deck that can be red or is already red.
Nice. All right, well that was our card of the week. Again, congratulations to Paul Hannon, and thank you so much to you for your support on Patreon. Let's just jump into the main topic.
Main topic.
Our topic is the 2020 tournament structure. So last year, they introduced format-specific points. So you play in a Pauper Challenge or a Pauper League, you get Pauper points in addition to, if you 5-0, you would get some number of competitive points. But this year, they decided that they were going to try to simplify, and that's kind of amazing since my show notes are more than 6 pages long. there's a lot of like redundancy in that we do go through like price structures, and those take up a lot of room. But Wizards' announcement of how all of this is going to work was, if you were to print it 18 pages long, and I did have to go out and find other references to find like schedules and things like that. So we're going to really break it down for you here in a simple way, hopefully.
Yeah, and I'm going to be kind of learning with you all as well, because I didn't even know about this announcement until Sean sent me a message and went, show notes are done. And I was confused because I was like, wait, I always write the power rankings show notes. And he went, no, we're talking about the announcement from December 5th. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. You're psychotic. Nope, turns out he's not. So I'm going to be learning a bit too. I've reviewed this a little bit, but I had literally no idea about it till last night.
Like we said, this is for simplicity. Well, they said that it was for simplicity and so that you can dabble in other formats. So they've removed format-specific points like those popper points that we were talking about. And so everything is just these qualifier points. I'm just going to call them QPs for the entire rest of the episode. There's going to be seasons now. Instead of your points being good for the entire year, they've broken the year down into 3 about 17-week seasons. At the end of each season, you lose all of your qualifier points. There's more ways to get them more easily, but also the number that you're shooting for has been bumped up from 35 to 40. So the first season actually started December 10th, and it's ending April 15th. So we're already well into the first one. You've got a few more months, which should be enough time, especially with some of these they actually introduced a new tournament that you can earn all of your points that you're going to need to join whatever tournament that you're going to be going for with those points.
Yep, and these points, these QPs, they can be used to play in PTQs or Players Tour qualifiers and Champion Showcase events, which all lead into the tabletop Players Tour events.
So the Champion Showcase events are the ones that after you get your points, you play in that, and that'll qualify you for the big tournament at the end of each season. Wizards does provide a schedule of the big events. You can either just Google MTGO and go to the Wizards site, and there should be a link that says calendar, or I will provide a link in the show notes, like bookmark that or something. And it only goes about a month out, but that's what I'm going to be using and announcing on the show when these big events that you need to set your goal for how many qualifier points you need to get to qualify for that. So do you want to get into how you earn qualifier points?
Yes, let's talk about that. So the first way you can is through leagues. So entry into a league is 10 tickets or 100 play points, and they're rewarded by wins. So 5 wins, you receive 150 play points, 11 chests, a competitive trophy, and 4 qualifier points. So you'd need to 5-0 10 of these leagues to accumulate enough QPs to play in one of the events. At 4 wins, it's 120 play points, 5 chests, 2 qualifier points. 3 wins, play points, and a chest, and 2 wins, you get 50 play points.
So not a lot of changes there. The prize structure is staying pretty much the same, except we're replacing qualifier points with pauper points. Other way around, replacing pauper points with qualifier points. And then they have introduced a new event type, and this is really, really exciting because you can get enough qualifier points in one tournament if you play well, and these are happening pretty regularly every day of the week. I think that's pretty dang exciting because before I had to grind all these games, and when I originally saw this, I was afraid that since it took me about 2 seasons to get enough points to play in one of the showcase challenges, that I wouldn't be able to do that anymore. But these preliminary events, there are 30 ticks to enter or 300 play points. It's 5 rounds of Swiss, and then the rewards are 5 wins, you get 600 play points, 12 chests, and 40 qualifier points. 4 wins, you get 450 play points, 6 chests, and 40 qualifier points. and then 3 wins, you get 300 play points and 3 chests. But 4 or 5 wins, straight there. Like, you're done. That's all you gotta do.
And to clarify, though, these aren't like leagues where you can enter and then play a match and then come back to it the next day and play. Like, this is like an actual structured system. Like, you enter the event, you play your match, and then when your next match starts, you got to be ready to play, right? So it's like a real actual tournament.
It's going to be a chunk of time, which I haven't been used to since I haven't been playing in the challenges, but I think this is what most people who go to F&M and things are used to.
Yeah. So let's go through the schedule for the preliminary events. So like Sean said, they're every day of the week, Monday through Sunday, or no,
Not Saturday.
Monday through Friday. They're actually Monday through Friday, and then Sunday is the challenge. So Monday at 11 a.m. is the preliminary event, Tuesday at 3 p.m., Wednesday at 7 p.m., and Thursday at 7 p.m.
7 a.m. on Thursday.
Oh, a.m. on Thursday, sorry. And then Friday is 12 a.m., noon.
This is kind of sad a little bit. I hope they're planning on doing something here, or maybe one of these other tournaments is filling a Saturday slot. I don't know. But it is a little bit sad that Saturday is the day that I can do things like that, and I can't just earn my 40 points on a Saturday unless I 5-0-10 leagues, which is not going to happen. I think this, for me, is the biggest announcement of the whole thing. That there's these preliminary events that if there's enough players interested, they're going to fire. These are going to be happening all the time, and I'll get maybe a few chances to progress. So next up, we just have the challenges. I'm just going to run through those. I don't think there's a whole lot of changes here. So entry is 30 ticks or 300 play points. Like we said, they start at 10 a.m. on Sundays. Also, make sure all of this is matching up with time zones, and these times are Pacific Standard Time. So make sure you're making the appropriate adjustment there. Like, we live in the Mountain Time Zone. If it would start at 11 according to the schedule, it would actually be 12 our time. All right, so moving on. Like I said, challenges. Still a Swiss with a cut to single elimination top 8. For the first prize, actually first and second you get the 40 qualifier points, but first prize you get the 600 play points, 100 chests, and 1 non-foil set of the most recent standard legal set. Second place, you also get 600 play points, 75 chests, and those 40 qualifier points. Third through fourth, you get 450 play points, 50 chests, 20 qualifier points. And then fifth through eighth, again, 450 play points, 25 chests, and 10 qualifier points. 9th through 16th, 300 play points, 10 chests. 17th through 32nd, 300 play points and 5 chests. And then, depending on how many people enter, if there's more than 64 people, there's 150 play points awarded to 33rd through 64th place. But like we said, challenges are at 10 a.m. One important note is that when there is a showcase challenge, where you're going to be spending your qualifier points to enter, those replace the Pauper Challenge on that Sunday.
All right, should we talk about limited for anyone who wants to think about that?
Yeah, and we do have to talk about it since the qualifier points are transferable.
Yeah. Okay, so for draft leagues, it's 3 wins give you 1 qualifier point. For Swiss sealed or drafts, it's 3 wins equals 1 qualifier point. And for single elimination drafts, qualifier points are awarded to first and second place. 4 for first place and 2 for second place.
There's also other prizes in there, but I'm not covering all of those. I just decided to just put the qualifier points in there.
There's treasure chests and points, like, the same thing with everything else. But the QPs are what we're more focused on.
Right. Okay. So now we're into this to how do you spend your QPs? They put in a note that if you are planning on using your QPs for a specific event, make sure you register early, since these all tournaments have an upper limit of how many people can enter. So that limit is over 600 people. So I don't think Pauper is going to be having that issue, but if you're going to be doing like a PTQ, which is the first one on our list, those have a way higher chance of filling up. These PTQs, The only fee that you have to pay is those 40 qualifier points. And these are not popper events, but they are a way to spend those qualifier points that you may be interested in, so we put it in here. And I'm going to skip over all of the prizes and things like that, but just know that the first prize gets you an invitation to the Players Tour. These are scheduled on weekends. Check the schedule, the MTGO schedule that I mentioned earlier if you are interested in those. So the showcase challenges are also 40 QPs to enter. It's a Swiss with a cut to a single elimination top 8. So for the prizes, first place, you get 900 play points, 200 chests, 1 foil set of the most recent standard legal set, and an invitation to the Champions Showcase Qualifier. When you get those Champion Showcase Qualifier tokens, those are format specific. So if you play in a Pauper one, you're only going to be playing in the Pauper Showcase Qualifier. Moving on though, second place, 750 play points, 150 chests, 1 foil set, and an invitation to the Champions Showcase Qualifier. All the way down through the top 8 is actually an invitation to the Champions Showcase Qualifier. Third through fourth gets 600 play points, 100 chests, 1 non-foil set, that invitation. And then 5th through 8th gets 450 play points, 50 chests, 1 non-foil set of the most recent standard legal set, and that Champions Showcase Qualifier token. And then there are prizes lower than that. 9th through 16th, 300 play points and 25 chests. 17th through 32nd, 300 play points, 15 chests, and 33rd through 64th, 150 play points and 5 chests. Even if you don't do super great in these, I think it's worth it. You're going to be getting $50, $60 worth of value, higher than that even, just by participating in most of these. Competition is going to be steep though. 3 of these are held per season, and the first one is January 26th, and it replaces the challenge on that Sunday.
There are also events called Showcase Last Chance events, and I'm assuming that these are going to be like the night before a Showcase challenge. And these are ways for you to qualify if you haven't already done so.
They actually replace the preliminary events after the final challenge of the season happens.
Okay.
So these are going to be happening, I think, for a few weeks, every day of the week.
Oh, wow. So that's crazy. So the entry into these events, though, is 40 QPs and 30 tickets or 300 play points. It's a Swiss with prizes based on your Swiss, not standings, but your Swiss finish. So 5 wins is 600 play points and an invitation to the Champions Showcase. 4 wins is 450 play points, and 3 wins is 300 play points.
So I think these were kind of implemented as like okay, so you got 40 QPs. You missed the tournament on that last Sunday, but we don't want to make you feel bad about putting in all that work. So you do have a chance at a penalty to play and use those points. Yeah, there's the penalty of it's an additional 30 ticks or 300 play points to enter, and the prizes are cut down. Like, really, it's just to get you that Champions Showcase Qualifier token. The next tournament is Showcase Opens. I haven't been able to find when these are scheduled. They don't have them on the schedule yet. They are only sealed, but they don't take QPs to enter, which they were in the section for how to use QPs, so that's not my bad. But it's either 40 ticks or 400 play points to enter. It's a Swiss with a cut to single elimination top 8. I'm not going to go through all of the prizes in these future tournaments because it's the same. It's the 900 points, the 200 chests for number 1, foil set. But if you win this, you get an invitation to both the Champions Showcase Qualifier and the Players Tour automatically. So the top prize for this is pretty nuts, but I imagine the number of players is also pretty nuts.
The next tournament in the new structure is called a Showcase Qualifier. This is kind of like the goal for us as Pauper players. This is the highest Pauper level tournament that really exists in Magic right now.
Yeah.
the entry is a format token, so you need to have that Pauper format token, and you can enter the Pauper Showcase qualifier, which will feed directly into the Super Duper Showcase Extravaganza Champion Showcase. So this is going to feed you directly into the Championship Showcase. So it's Swiss with a cut to single elimination top 8. And the prize structure is as follows. First place, 900 play points, 200 chests, a format avatar, a foil set of the most recent standard legal set, and an invitation to the Champions Showcase and Players Tour.
Right. And just for clarity, when we say showcase, that's mocks.
All right. Second place, 750 play points, 150 chests, format avatar, and a foil set.
I'm going to stop you there. The prizes are the same. Anything that starts with 900 play points is the same as anything else that starts with 900 play points. The only difference for the showcase qualifier is that at this point, if you get to play in this tournament, you get a format avatar. And that's freaking awesome. I want a format avatar so bad.
Cool. All right.
The schedule for this is they will be spread out over the first few weeks of the following season. A whole season is you just trying to get into this tournament. You get the 40 points. They have these 3 tournaments. They give you qualifier tokens. And then start of the next season, they have the showcase qualifier tournament, which is the one we're talking about now. And yeah, you're just trying to get into this final tournament that we'll be talking about next, which is the Mox tournament. Like, I keep wanting to say parts of the acronym, like, like PIN number or ATM machine. Like, I want to call it the Mox Championship Showcase.
The Mox Magic Online Championship Showcase.
But if you qualify for this, just showing up, minimum, you're going to get $5,000.
Cool. Well, yeah, this is like a big tournament. This is basically equivalent to a Pro Tour in a lot of senses. So, or Players Tour, excuse me.
But it's just an 8-player event. The people that are attending are going to be the 5 winners of the constructed showcase qualifiers, also 1 winner of the limited showcase qualifier, and then the 2 winners of the showcase opens. So I guess that means that there will be 2 showcase opens sometime. The format is to be disclosed at least 1 month prior to the event, and then for the prizes, you get $20,000 and an invitation to the Pro Tour Finals. Second place is $15,000. Third through fourth place is $7,500, and 5th through 8th place is $5,000. So if you get first place, you take that $20,000. And since you're already in the finals of the Pro Tour, I imagine you're just going to be able to at least show up and pick up a check. So
yeah,
that is the end goal here.
Yeah. So again, they just kind of restructured everything. They're just saying, just get qualifier points, just play Magic. We're not going to make you just play one format to try to make your way in. You just play whatever Magic you want, get your points, and then use your points to go and play a format specific event. And that all will feed into making it to the Players Tour Finals.
Yeah. To basically break it down, it's not that complicated of you get your 40 points, you play in a qualifier, you play in a second qualifier, and then you go to the mocks. The first qualifier is format specific, second qualifier also format specific, and then the mocks is definitely not going to be Pauper. I want to say, like, I think
most likely Modern or Standard or Pioneer or something.
Yeah, I think since it's probably not going to be played on the Players Tour, probably not going to be played in the mocks, the highest tournament that you can go to is the Showcase qualifier that you get that sweet avatar from. And that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's a lot of information. Ultimately, though, I kind of like this restructuring. I think it seems a little less messy than the old one.
Yeah.
I do like that, players are just incentivized to play Magic. They're not like, oh, I'm so close to getting my format points. I'd love to play Vintage Cube, but instead I have to, play Legacy or Modern or whatever because I got to get those format points. So this is great. You just get to play whatever Magic you want and be rewarded for playing Magic.
I think if you want to play the least amount of Magic and make the most money possible, you play in a preliminary event on a weekday, get your 40 QPs, go play in a showcase challenge, maybe on the 26th of this month. Use that token that you earned from that because you top 8'd to go play in a showcase qualifier, and then you're in the mocks. So I don't know how many games of Magic that would be, but I think in 20 games of Magic, you could earn more than $20,000.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Any other points before we sign off?
No, I think we're ready to sign out.
End time.
All right, well, that's the show. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Common Knowledge. Again, big thank you to all of our great sponsors at inkgaming.com and Game Grid Midvale. Check out their online store in the link below, and don't forget about that coupon code CCMTG10, good for a 10% discount on all ink gaming supplies and accessories. You can find the show on puremtgo.com, as well as the Constructed Criticism YouTube channel. You can also send us an email if you'd like to at commonknowledgemtg@gmail.com. We love your emails. We love reading them. You can find the show on Twitter at CK Podcast MTG, as well as our ever-growing Facebook group, Common Knowledge. And Sean, where can the listeners find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Lobbert8, that is Lobbert and the number 8, as well as YouTube. You can find me if you just search for Lobbert. I have videos of me playing Pauper, usually Pauper Leagues there, so check that out.
Boom, and you can find me also on Twitter at bclark_CK. Thank you so much for listening, and see you next time.
Bye.
Bye forever.